Hey everybody, Star 6 Wars 1 here, and welcome to the next month of favorites video. For this one, we are taking a look at the big one, my top 25 favorite anime, which is a remake of my old list that I made back in December of 2013, though it was originally a top 20. Now, I'll be honest here, this one will be remade again after this because my opinions on anime change over time. Kind of like how Blue Exorcist, the first time I watched it, I really liked it. And then I thought more about it and didn't like it so much, and then I liked it again after rewatching it. So my opinion on certain anime change over time. So this list is inevitably going to end up being obsolete after even just 6 months. So it will be remade again very soon. But it won't be remade just yet. It'll be a little bit before we remake it. But that's besides the point. Now, another thing is this will be split into 5 different parts, and each part will be released in different days each week, up until the 31st when I release the final part. So for this week, we'll look at numbers 25 through to 21. So without further ado, let us begin. Number 25, the original Fate Stay Night from Studio Dean. Oh, I'm betting you guys are surprised by the fact that this is now much lower than it was in my original top 20 favorite anime. Why is that? Well, there are 2 reasons. One, the list has greatly changed since then, including the fact that there are no more ties. And 2, I haven't watched Fate Stay Night since the first time back that year. So quite honestly, it's very understandable why this would have dropped considerably since then, because I've not watched it at all. And honestly, it'll be a bit before I watch it again, though I will have to watch it again at some point to either review it or for the months of Fate. So, we got that. I still think it's a decent series, though I don't think it's as good as I remember it. But it still is going to hold up a little bit at least. And that's why it is my number 25. Number 24, Digimon Tamers. Yes, it's still on the countdown. Yes, I have still not seen it since the last time I saw it. But I still think it's a really good series. Something I noticed in my previous countdown is that I really didn't go too into depth of why I like Digimon Tamers. Well, time to explain. It is a very dark story compared to the rest of the series. In fact, it is genuinely dark and was written by the same guy who wrote Serial Experiments Lain and the original Hellsing. So yeah, there's that. Why did he decide to work on a children's show is beyond me, but it turns into one of the most fascinating children's shows I think I've ever seen in any media. It's fairly dark, and it could be also for adults as much as it is for kids, with some very dark themes, and quite honestly, it was still rather enjoyable and still had some of the Digimon feel to it, along with other things. It's more than just a Digimon show, it is an amazing show, though it is still only my number 24. Number 23, Sword Art Online. Okay, I want to be honest here. Yes, Sword Art Online is much lower once again. But I want to also explain something else. I still really like the first half of SAO. True, it's flawed. True, it could have done better. But you know what? For what the first half is, I still really enjoy it. It really had great action scenes, and when it was actually trying to be dark and genuinely succeeded, episode 3, it was really good. I think the first early episodes were the best. But unfortunately, I do think that it could have been a lot better. And that is very sad that it wasn't. And the second half did falter a lot, even though I still think the action scenes in that are fairly decent. I just think the rest of it kind of suffered for it. Wish it could have been better, but it isn't. What we have, though, is my number 23, Sword Art Online. Number 22, Canon 2006 version. Yes, we finally have a new entry on the top 25, and it is Canon. Now, while I think for myself, I do prefer Clannad a lot more, I have to say this right now, Canon in and of itself is a pretty good series. The characters are pretty good for the most part. The music is pretty good for the most part. I think the animation is gorgeous. And honestly, the story is intriguing, especially towards the end. Now, what does make me fault it, though, is the fact I'm not that big a fan of the main character, Yuichi. But again, that's just me. And that is why it is my number 22, Canon 2006. Number 21, Persona 4 The Animation. Now, why do I like this anime? Well, I'm a Persona fanboy. I admit that a lot of my love for this show is because of the video game series itself. I do not think without the series I would have loved it as much. But, you know, I still think it's a good anime. It has a pretty good, main developed character. I think the animation can be a little on the spotty side, and I'm kinda glad they're remaking it, because that animation looks even better. But I will say that I do like the original, even if it is more or less a guilty pleasure, because I do acknowledge it has its problems. Like the animation and debatably the ending, but I liked the ending fine. But I just know that not everybody did. So that is why it is my number 21.